All right, so what's going on?
What's going on?
What's your name and tell me a little bit about yourself.
My name is Quentin Brown, but everybody love to call me Q the Boss. That was a name that was given to me. I did not just start calling myself Q the Boss.
Okay, tell me about some of the businesses that you're into.
So currently, I'm a barbershop owner. I co-own a pharmacy. I co-own a nightclub. I co-own a real estate office, and I own a few properties. So that's pretty much where where I'm at right now. Very versed.
Gotcha. So the purpose of this interview is to interview leaders in the community.
Okay.
So hopefully that people that see this interview and people that are trying to become leaders themselves, they can get some information from you.
Okay.
Me personally, I want to be a better leader, so I want to learn from people that are where I'm trying to be.
Okay.
So my next question is, what makes someone a leader?
I'm going to be honest with you. I start with one's mindset, because some people feel like because they're the best basketball player on the team, that don't necessarily mean that's the leader. And ultimately, people feel like just because you may be the most popular or you may be the most versed, that doesn't necessarily mean you're a leader. To me, a leader is one who knows how to pull out potentials in others around them. I feel like that's what makes a leader a leader. People tend to believe like, because I average 30 points on the team, but I don't care about nobody else on the team, I'm not a leader. A leader, again, is one who says, you know what? This guy can average more than 7 rebounds a game. And you can push and motivate them to bring that out of him. Now he's getting 10, 15 rebounds a game. That's a leader. A leader also holds himself very accountable for everything. Win, lose, or draw, a leader will stand there and not run from the scrutiny.
I love that. When did you become a leader?
I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I like to say this ultimately. When I was always a leader, but I never knew the fact how much or how many people I could really lead. I kind of like never was the guy that always followed the team. I was always the one that said, I'm going to do my own thing. I never needed a bunch of friends. I never been like that. But I always tell people I didn't become a man till I was 30. And they say, why? Because that's when I stopped making excuses on my life and started holding myself accountable. So I would say to me, becoming a leader and becoming a man was the same day. At about 30 years old, something just clicked and I said, yo, you've been excuse-ridden your whole life. Like something has to give. And that's when I felt like I became a leader because I held myself accountable for everything I put myself through through my whole life. And I said to myself, in order for this thing to change, I have to do something about it because the world ain't going to feel sorry for me.
How can people take themselves to the next level?
Ultimately, I feel like mindset is everything. A lot of people don't understand the value of mindset. Again, you can believe you're going to be a millionaire all you want. But even from a biblical standpoint, the Bible says faith without work is nothing. It's dead. So you can have all the faith. I think the word manifestation, I think the word faith, I think those things get blown out of proportion because they don't understand the factor or the facet of work. You have to be willing to put in the work. I feel like in order to become, or the steps you can take, you definitely have to change your mind. Your mindset has to understand there's going to be a lot of adversity. There's going to be a lot of scrutiny. There's going to be a lot of falls and mishaps and bumps along your road. But at the end of the day, the person that perseveres and keeps getting up will ultimately see some level of success. You might not be where you want to be today, but ultimately the sacrifices of today can lead to the betterment of tomorrow. And you have to be comfortable knowing to whom much is given, much is required. So with that being said, you have to understand that the things you want is going to take a lot of ups and downs along this roller coaster. But at the end of the day, you persevere, you ultimately see your glory.
What are your daily habits and how do they contribute to your success?
Well, my daily habits every day, I'm going to be honest with you. I wake up, first thing I do is I give myself a quick prayer and meditate for like at least 3 to 5 minutes. I thank God for another day to get it right. That's one thing I always say, thank you for giving me another day that I can fix what I wronged yesterday. So first thing I do is I get up, like I would say about anywhere from 5:30 to 6 a.m. every day. consistently, 7 days a week, whether I'm off or I'm not off. I still get up the same time. My regimen usually starts at the gym by 7:30. I work out from an hour to an hour and a half. Then I ultimately lead to my barbershop. After I lead to my barbershop, I'm answering conference calls. I'm handling paperwork, emails all day long. I've made my barbershop, at one point, it was my office. Standing behind that chair, I'm closing deals with my Beats headphones on, talking to people about what's the next move, what's the next play, what's the next everything. My daily routine has ultimately led me in front of the race. But if I kept my old ways, I'll be behind the race. See, my mother always said to me, if you do the things of a loser, don't expect not to lose. So again, you have to follow what the successful people are doing. Therefore, you can push yourself ahead of the race. You know?
Elaborate when you were talking about how you cutting hair when you're closing deals at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where does that come from?
You know what it is? When I first started as a barber, I felt like a lot of my clients saw things in me that they didn't see in the average person. And they said things to me that actually made me believe more in myself. You know, there's a few people that, when I look back, man, they've meant so much to me, because even when I didn't believe in me, they believed in me. So now when you're sitting behind that chair, which is pretty much a therapeutic session, it's therapy, and I'm having a conversation with somebody, this is the most intimate moment a man and a man could ever possibly be, I would feel. And that's between a man getting his haircut with his barber. We tell each other things we wouldn't tell the average world. We tell the most intimate things, whether it's relationship advice, whether it's life advice, whether it's family advice, whether it's economical advice. What I did was I took all of these things and I put them into making the man I wanted to become. The man I wanted to become was I seen pieces in different clients that I loved. And I said, I have to steal a little bit of him and a little bit of him and a little bit of him and sprinkle a little bit of him. And ultimately, I was able to create who I am today. You know, I changed my mind. And I would say that barbershop, man, it gave me the insight on who I wanted to become. It made me the man I am today.
What do you call that? Like, being able to see qualities in you that I like, and realize that that's something that I need, and see qualities in him that I don't have, and implement that in me. Like, what do you call that? I
feel like everyone has gifts, and it takes the right people around you to either exercise it and bring it out of you, or B, they try to block it. So I feel like I call them dark clouds. Dark clouds don't want to see you shine. So think about when the sun is out. What usually blocks the sun? You know, it's usually a dark cloud. And a dark cloud, when it blocks the sun from shining, ultimately you don't see the sun shining anymore. So those people, they're motivated by actually being a dark cloud. They love killing dreams. They love blocking your blessings. But again, when you're around people who aren't like that and who really want to bring the better you out, it becomes contagious. It's like ritual when you realize that me becoming the better me is because I'm around people that want me to become the better me. It's amazing when you start seeing, like, again, you said, what do you call that? I call that just learning yourself. You know, when you start learning that I'm being gifted by God to do certain things, and I'm blessed because to get paid to do what you love, and on top of it, touch someone else's life, that's a beautiful feeling when you can change a mind from thinking of a condition that has been conditioned for so long. It's amazing when you can see that person is basically being delivered from the sickness that they've had for years. And it's called failure. It's called second guessing. It's called it's like a Debbie Downer in a sense. And you start seeing people look up and like, yo, I actually did. And I'm like, bro, it's always been in you. Sis, it's always been in you. But again, it takes certain people to bring it out of you.
What do you consider as a winner's mindset?
Consistency is a winner's mindset, being consistent. And when you see people, they deviate from the goal, you have to say to yourself, even though you guys are going to go have fun and rip and run and party and turn up, I'm staying on my course because I know what the end result is. You know, the other day, me and my younger brother was having a conversation, and I said to him, I started an investment group, and I want him to be a part of it because I see a lot of potential in him. And I told him, if you got to go do Grubhub, if you got to do Uber Eats, do it. Because this will push you into a space that a lot of people aren't doing. Again, nothing plus nothing equals nothing. But something plus something equals something. Ultimately, one who plants a seed will ultimately eventually eat from his own garden. And people are not planting seeds. All they do is wait for something to just spring from their grass. And it's sad because of the fact of the matter is nothing happens by chance. Everything happens by sacrifice. And that's reality.
What qualities are important for success?
I think the greatest qualities, again, is consistency. I think the qualities of being successful is knowing who you are, being comfortable with who you are, but also knowing how to basically, I would say, adjust in any setting. Some people allow their personality to block them from great situations. And I realized that, you know, successful people, they know how to navigate in any setting. You know, they know when to speak. They know when not to speak. They know when to listen. They know when not to listen. They know when to block out the good things, and they know when to administer the good things. You know, they know when to do anything. And I've learned that successful people, they have the willingness to do the things that the average aren't willing to do. You know, I tell most people, I go to sleep after you and I wake up before you. So therefore, I feel like I should be in a better space than most people. I'm willing to do the little things that the average people aren't willing to do. I dot my I's, I cross my T's. You know, and I push myself every day to be greater. And I don't make excuses. And I feel like that's what successful people do. Either they get it done or they don't. And if they don't, they know they gave it their all. So when they look back at it, they look at it as a lesson. They don't look at it as time wasted. They don't look at it as they failed. They look at it as this just wasn't meant to be.
For somebody who is not consistent, how can they develop that consistency muscle?
I feel like, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day. And we all know this theory. But at the same time, you have to be able to ask yourself, what is wrong with me? Why am I losing? Why is my life not coming to fruition the way I wanted to or at the speed I wanted to? You have to say to yourself, am I really being lazy? Am I really doing the extra? You know, am I sitting down waiting for things to happen for me? Or am I taking life by the horns? You have to be real with yourself. And a lot of people, I feel like they can't do that. You know, it's easy to point the finger at my dad not being there or my mom, she never showed me these things. But again, we have a cheat code which is called YouTube. But yet and still, we don't utilize it to the best of our ability by understanding that, YouTube can teach you how to be a greater person, period. And that's what I've done. I have virtual mentors that I've never met, but they've changed my mind so much. So in conclusion, you know, one thing I want to do is say to my next generation after me, it's not about my generation no more. My job is to make sure these guys are more prepared than I was when I came on earth, and so forth and so forth. So I tell everybody, each one teach one. Stop complaining about the things that you see in society and actually be the example for the change. And every day I work on myself to be the change and the example for the next generation. And I try to motivate and encourage. Those who hear me, hear me. Those who don't, they don't. But who was meant to hear me will hear me. And who wasn't, won't. Again, you can follow me on social media at QDABoss516. Again, QDABoss516. Say it all as one. Q the Boss 516. I appreciate you guys. Love is love. Love your brother, love your sisters, and always motivate and encourage each other. And stop looking at the bads in each other and let's push up the goods. You know, peace. Better you, better society. Peace.